Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this video is all about self-care 101. Finding the self-care things that you want to implement into your life and making them habits so that you're constantly doing something that is rewarding for yourself, rather than letting yourself hit rock bottom and then just flooding yourself with loads of self-care stuff. That also works, but for me, I then just find that really overwhelming, which is then not helping my headspace either. Maybe this is for the girls or boys that have seen all these TikTok videos about people's self-care routines and just find it really overwhelming, or think, I want my evening or my morning or my day to have that much self-care in it, or I want my life to be like that. Or they just find it overwhelming seeing all this content, all these different products, and they just don't know where to start. So this is basically for you. This is going to help you bring more self-care into your life and just make your days better. You're just giving yourself little rewards every day that are habits, so like there's no downside to this. So the kind of like sub definition for this video was little steps at a time for a long-term reward. Doing these little things consistently to make it a habit in your life. Your days just become more enjoyable. You're doing more self-care. What's not to love? But it's also having a positive impact on your mental health. The way I view self-care is that we do stuff for the mind and stuff for the body. And obviously some of these things are going to overlap, like exercise, obviously good for our body and our mental well-being and our mental health. So just bear that in mind when I'm talking about body stuff and mind stuff, because obviously most of these things go hand in hand. What you want to do is make a list, but make a list of the things that you count as self-care, that are self-care for your mind and self-care for your body. The things on my mind side are a new hobby, so something that you don't necessarily get a financial gain from, so there's no financial pressure behind it. You can literally just enjoy it because it's something you enjoy and you do it in your spare time, and it gets you off your phone, it gets you being creative. I'm quite fortunate in the sense that my hobby became my job, so I'm a lash and nail technician, but obviously I'm financially dependent on that, so it kind of takes the fun away from it. The next one that I find helps my mind is journaling, but I have a really bad habit of only doing this when I feel really crap, so I want to make this a habit so that I'm doing it even if it's literally one sentence a day. I kind of believe in the universe, manifesting, law of attraction and stuff like that, and I'm not gonna lie, like, why is the universe going to give me anything if all I'm writing in my journal is that everything's shit and everything's bad and I'm having a really bad day? Like, I'm not writing about the good stuff, I'm not showing gratitude in my day-to-day life. Like, I can do all the gratitude lists I want, but if I'm not actually like explaining my good days and reflecting on my good days, there's no balance. The next one, which I can say is ticked off, is reading. That has definitely become a habit of mine, that before I'd be like, oh, it's just a bit of a self-care evening, I'll read towards the end of the night, but it's actually become a daily part of my routine. I used to love reading when I was younger, so I'm so glad I've got back into it. The next one, not everyone will agree with, but treats to myself. So that obviously doesn't mean buying every single thing that I want, because I don't think that counts as self-care. I think that counts as self-destructive. I work hard for my money, so if I want something within reason, then just like, if it's going to bring me joy, then what's the harm? Do you know what I mean? There's so many worse things I could be spending my money on, and I'm not doing that. So next one is romanticising your life, my life, life as a whole. The way I like to do this is by taking pictures, or I make TikToks about certain things. By documenting it, it almost makes me want to make it even nicer, even cuter, and then it just again becomes a habit to put that extra effort in, even if I'm not taking a picture, just making that extra effort for yourself. A podcast episode that I really recommend is called A Better You by Fernanda. She's got a whole podcast episode dedicated to romanticising your life. I listened to this when I was on a little hot girl walk not long ago. If you want to know more about romanticising your life, then I definitely recommend listening to that podcast. And then something that you necessarily think to do, but for me it's like listening to my gut, trusting my gut instinct, listening to my mind. Your body's literally telling you what it wants. There is no easier way of doing self-care than literally just listening to what your body is telling you. If your body's telling you, I really don't want to go out tonight, I really don't want to do that, I'm just going to sit in, have a bath, read my book, do a face mask, order a takeaway, any or all of the above, like, listen to your body. I feel fortunate in the sense that I'm able to differentiate when I don't want to go because of anxiety, or when I've just got a gut feeling, or I know that I just need to stay in. Like, I know that it's just going to be beneficial for me. Listening to your gut is literally the easiest thing that you can do. And if that's not your strong suit, then I really suggest just spending time with yourself. You could do some shadow work, get to know yourself. You're your own best friend, so just get to know yourself, spend time with yourself, and then you know what your triggers are, and you can pinpoint your emotions a bit better. So when you're feeling a certain way, you can be like, oh, that's because of that, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna do this. But that leads me on to the list about the things that I do for my body that I count as self-care. So I don't know enough of it, but exercising. So for me, I like to do Pilates or walking. I used to kind of do weight training, but I didn't really find that worked for me. I didn't enjoy it, probably because I wasn't doing it right, but hey-ho. I also love the Stairmaster. Obviously, controversial opinion, but I literally love the Stairmaster. So I just listen to a podcast, go on the Stairmaster. I can do half an hour, which I don't know if that's a lot or not, but I'm quite impressed with myself for that. The next thing that is for my body, but also is good for me, is washing my hair. Like, for some reason, I find washing my hair such a chore. I don't know why, because I don't have loads of it. It's not like an overwhelming amount. It's not super long, it's not super thick. I haven't got extensions that take forever to dry or that are high maintenance. Like, I don't know why I find it such a chore, but I feel so much better after I've washed and styled my hair. It really is like the bare minimum. When I look better, I feel better, and then I do better. And that kind of goes hand in hand with making an effort with myself. So if that's just actually getting ready for work, but like, I kind of got in the habit of not necessarily like putting much effort into my appearance for work. I'm a lash and nail technician, so I can kind of get away with going in a tracksuit and slicking my hair back and stuff like that, but I always feel so much better when, as I say, I make an effort with myself. I put a bit of makeup on, I put some thought into my outfit, or even if it's just putting a spray of perfume on, or a different perfume compared to what I usually wear. Like, it doesn't necessarily all have to be kind of superficial things, but for me, they're just what help me. And then also, I feel like everything showers. That's the next on my list. Everything showers are great. They always feel worse in the lead up because you know it's going to take some time, it's going to take some effort, but after you feel great. Exfoliating, shaving, putting fresh pyjamas on. I was about to say fresh bedding, but that also is really good for myself. My self-care is putting fresh sheets on and cleaning my room and stuff. They're the kind of things on my list that I know that after I do them, I feel so much better for, but before, the thought of them just feels a little bit like a chore, which I don't get why, because I know they're going to make me feel better. But anyway, that is kind of the first part, is making your list. And then the second part literally carries on really easily, and it's just refining your list. So just be a little bit more picky about the things you actually want to implement into your life, because trying to just do all these things at once, you're just going to get overwhelmed. You're going to maybe do it for not even a week, and then you're going to stop, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, that was a waste of time. So just literally go in with a fine-tooth comb and just pick the things that you actually want to do. So for me, a new hobby isn't my priority at the moment, because there are just other things that I want to prioritise more, and treats to myself isn't necessarily a priority because I've bought quite a lot recently, so that's obviously not a priority. So like, yeah, I can cross reading off because that's become a habit already. Just be specific with what you actually want to put into your life. The third step is implementing them piece by piece. Little steps at a time so that they become habits and you can gain the long-term reward. Things become habits when you do them consistently. After a while, it's just going to take minimum effort, and then you're not going to get overwhelmed. So literally just do the littlest thing. As I say, your list that you've now refined, just implement the tiniest bit of it. As I say, read 2 pages of a book, 1 page of a book. Write down 1 sentence in your journal. Whatever's on your list, think of a way to slowly bring that into your life so that you then enjoy it. It's like, oh, okay, this is fun, rather than this feels like a chore. The way that self-care for me sticks is when my life is organised. So organisation plays a big part in self-care in my life. Being organised, for one, is another form of self-care for me. Like, I love my life being organised, but also it helps you keep on track. So you, again, it's another thing that stops you from reaching a really low point. If your life's organised, it stops you getting overwhelmed a bit quicker. So like, I synced up my work calendar and my personal calendar, and it was like, why didn't I do that sooner? So that I can see what every day's entails. And obviously it could just be not even like organising your life, maybe it's just organising your room. Clean space equals clean mind and all that. and it means you're not rushing around, so your life just feels a bit more calm and tranquil rather than like, oh shit, where's this, oh my god, I forgot I've got to do that. Like, writing lists, being organised is a form of self-care, as I say, in itself, but it kind of helps you stay consistent. Ways to stick with it. So, as I say, romanticising it, taking pictures, making TikToks, telling people about it so that people are holding you accountable. If you say, I'm doing this, people around you are going to be like, well, have you done that yet? You're like, oh god, I need to do it, Like, if you tell people, then they can hold you accountable. A quote that sticks with me, as I said, is, if they can do it, why can't you? And that is literally self-explanatory, but if someone else has got your dream life, then if they've achieved it, there is literally no reason why you can't. You just need to get out of your head sometimes to achieve that life that you want to achieve. Another quote I've heard recently is, the time is going to pass anyway. And it's like the time is going to pass. Like, if I was like, I want to spend my spare time reading, but I just sit and scroll on my phone, like, the time's passed anyway, but I've done something really counterproductive and been on my phone. Whereas I could have done something that is beneficial for my mental health, but the time's passed and I've done the lazy thing. It's important to note that when people say self-care, they usually show loads of expensive products, or they've done a new clothing haul, or there's a lot of like materialistic aspects to it, but sometimes literally pen and paper is all you need to implement self-care into your life. It's just being cautious of not getting too swept up about what you see on TikTok or social media, because obviously not everyone can do those things. Another note is that you've got to allow your mind to chill. Like, if any of this feels too overwhelming or too stressful, don't do it. The secret to all of this is to implement it piece by piece, little by little, so that it sticks and becomes a habit. We mostly all live very busy, fast-paced lives, and it's very easy for us to fall into a habit that drains our battery. We just feel drained because of our lives. A way to think of it is that if our phone's about to die, we plug it in on charge and we let it charge up again. This bit of metal, why am I so pressed if this dies, but I'm not pressed if I'm literally like at rock bottom, stressed, overwhelmed? When an app's out of place, you put it in a folder. When something's out of place in my room, I just leave it there. It's like, why do I do that? Why do I care so much about this but not about this? It's a process of actually like disconnecting yourself from your phone, which, it sounds weird, like I love my phone, but it is so self-destructive. If I just sit and scroll all day, it's literally the worst thing ever. So trying to disconnect from your phone. Another method of implementing self-care is literally unfriending, unfollowing anyone or anything, any company that you do not want to see. You are in control of what you see. I used to follow about the same amount of people that I have followers, so I've got 2,500 followers and I follow now 240 people. Before, it was because I was like, oh, I don't want them to think that I don't like them anymore, or that like I'm being, what's the word, prestige by unfollowing them. And I still obviously, like, I'm very aware, like, I don't want people to think that I'm being a bitch, that I'm up myself because I don't follow them. It's not that at all, but it's just, I might think that they're the most stunning person in the world and like they make me feel a bit crap about myself. What is the point of me seeing their stuff if all it's going to do is make me feel bad? Obviously some of these things are literally nothing personal. I used to be conscious about it, but as I say, like, I'd hope now that we've kind of reached a point where people don't get butthurt over it. It's really not that deep, it's literally one number. Delete people that aren't in your life anymore, that you don't care about. For me, a part of self-care is being on my phone less, and if I don't have random people's stories to watch, I'm on it less. It's just so much easier to disconnect. If their content doesn't bring you anything, then why are you following them? You don't need to see it. That is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this different type of content, because obviously so far I've only kind of done vlog style content. I'm thinking of doing my evening routine and my morning routine, just to show you how the little self-care habits that I do in action. Maybe that will be a bit easier to kind of grasp. I don't know. Let me know kind of your thoughts on this, what other kind of ideas you may have. We're all just here to help each other. Self-care is something I definitely neglected for a long time, and if I can just help someone else just feel a little bit better by having these habits in their life, then that's all kind of I wanted to achieve from this. You deserve to do nice things. You deserve to look after yourself, so yeah. Anyway, ramble over because this video is probably going to end up being way too long. And my boyfriend helps me with these, so he's going to be watching it like, Darcy, shut the fuck up. So yeah, sorry Henry. If you've liked this, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed it, give me a little comment, and yeah, oh my god, yeah, subscribe as well if you fancy. I hope you enjoyed this and like this type of content, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!